You're right. It was me.
There you go. Use it. Oops, I got to turn things up. Here we go. And that one for that.
There it is. From Rochester, New York, home of the garbage plate and nothing else, this is FC3 Monkey Business, your one-stop shop for everything geeky. It is starring Billy DeTore, Tanya Mattress, and Chris Frank. In stunning Technicolor, now your host, Chris Frank.
It reminds me from Armageddon. You touch nothing.
You touch nothing.
You put a lever. I put a lever.
Russian parts, American parts, all made in Taiwan.
Just listening to it makes me think of Armageddon.
Really surprised when you recorded it, you didn't say the handsome host, Chris Frank.
My modesty knows no bounds. Hey, Tony.
Yeah.
Some weekends I want to stay in and watch movies. Some I want to get out and be productive. Others I want to start drinking at noon and see what happens.
You know, I can relate
This has been that weekend.
I can relate to every statement in that sentence.
College
Well,
boys.
wasn't it not the weekend, but like Friday at noon?
Oh, God. Friday at noon I could have... Yeah, well, my car died right around 2:30 in the afternoon on Friday. Again.
That's nothing. My brothers put a hole in my in the frame of my car.
How did they do that?
They were replacing the control arm because it just broke in half. So, I mean, I can't get too mad at them because they were helping me out. So,
Well, that's great help. That's a great help.
But the question is, have you changed a flat tire at 10 o'clock at night in a friend's driveway with everyone
On Facebook
else?
Live.
On Facebook Live with everyone else watching you, and your donut ends up being fuzzy.
that's fancy.
It was a
It was a fuzzy donut?
It was a fuzzy donut. I don't think it's ever come out of Sean's car.
Okay.
So whatever is underneath the carpeting for the trunk stuck to the side
That's
of
hilarious.
the donut. So he put it on his car. So on Saturday, he went to go have his tire fixed. He was like, oh, I hope they can fix it. Nope.
Because it was just too far over on the
Sidewall.
of the... Yeah.
It just was enough into the sidewall that he had to buy himself a new tire.
Oof.
But we were changing. He was changing the tire using our flashlights from our phones the other night. And then I'm like, Don, why don't you turn your headlights on in your car? Oh,
No,
yeah.
it's actually crazy because I helped my dad patch his tire yesterday. So,
Hi, Billy.
Hi, Chris.
Billy doesn't have that problem.
I didn't get hit by a car.
That's See, I'm putting this into the official record on the cast notes for the show. It's we have producer, director, and stuntman now.
Stuntman.
Stuntman, engineer, and stuntman.
Yeah. Stunted man.
No, don't say not nice things about Tony. He's working hard over there.
No, I'm talking about me.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not short, I'm fun-sized.
That one came in from left field. Oh, God. So welcome to
Check,
Monkey
please.
Business. We missed you. We missed you a lot.
Did you?
I did.
We are like so kind of like blah.
Yeah,
today.
well, I think
there's
it's
not a lot of energy going on.
Well,
today.
here's the thing: is
It's
we're
hot.
experiencing a heat wave here in our lovely hometown of Rochester, New York, the home of garbage plates and apparently nothing else. It's
Sweat fest outside.
People always say, no, you'll like this when the winter comes around. No, I won't.
Yes.
I want the winter. I prefer the winter.
I don't mind the heat. It's the humidity that's
It's the
killing
humidity is
Yeah.
rough because like yesterday it was like something like 92, 93, but the heat index jacked it up into the hundreds.
Yeah.
Because the humidity
my
and
pool.
whatnot. It was terrible. It
I was in
amazing.
a movie theater.
Oh, what'd you see?
I saw yesterday.
Again?
No, I
Oh, for the first time.
for the first time.
Oh.
When did you
We
see it?
saw it before
When,
you
when,
saw
when
it.
did you see it?
I saw it yesterday.
You saw
I
yesterday?
saw
Yesterday?
yesterday.
Yesterday.
But what about tomorrow?
I don't know.
We won't see tomorrow. Yesterday.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, boy.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
I was
and
actually thinking about that.
Juno and I stayed in the house. I cleaned most of my first floor of my house and watched Outlander, and started watching Stranger Things again. Started watching season 1 again just because I wanted to jump into season. I haven't seen season 2 or 3 yet, so I want to jump in on those. And I took an impromptu nap, which is not normal for me. That was kind of neat.
Did Juno nap too?
I did what?
Did Juno nap also?
Juno was napping pretty much all day. If we weren't like out and about in the yard for those brief periods of time that we did, she was like crashed out on the floor in the corner. It's hiding. So she doesn't have favorite spots in the house yet, but I think she's starting to pick a couple. Is what's happening.
She's got a lot of fur, so
She does. It was definitely not a puppy friendly day yesterday, but she's hanging in there. She's hanging in there. So
She's a fluffy puppy. I met her for the first time last weekend.
Yep.
She's an absolutely gorgeous dog.
she is. She just is psychotic.
And she's finding her favorite humans.
Yes, and they're not me.
I'm sorry. No, because I was
okay.
at your house last weekend also for the podcasting media meeting, and truly, while you were talking, she was not leaving me alone.
No.
It was like, and
It's
if
you-
she was sitting on you, she was trying to figure out how she could jump off the couch to get to me.
Yes, it's you. It's Juliana. It's a couple of other people too. I've noticed she really gloms on to, and they're all women. So girls stick together, right? And then she tolerates me because I'm the one who brings her the food and the toys.
Mm-hmm.
So-
Actually, she was giving you a lot of signs of like respect and like alpha status.
Was she?
I think she views you as her alpha.
Okay, I'll take it.
Except for when she's trying to bite him.
Well, there's that.
When she was sitting down, her back was always facing you.
Okay.
Regardless of
Is that
where
a thing?
she was. Yeah, that's a thing. It's a
did not
sign of
pick up on that.
trust. Where she like, if she sits and her butt's facing towards you, like if she sits next to you and her butt's facing towards you, she trusts you.
Got it. I did not know that. So I glow with enlightenment right now.
We learned something new today.
That's cool. No, I'll take it. I have a friend of mine who she has this huge fenced-in yard out in Chilai, out by the Chilai Wegmans, and she has two pitties. One is this tall, sleek, athletic one named Ramona, and the other one is this little tank named Etta. Etta is definitely not the sharpest knife in the drawer. Okay, but she tries really hard.
Brightest bulb.
Yeah,
Brightest bulb in the drawer.
right. So I took Juno out there to play with the dogs. And so Ramona and Juno were flying. I was surprised at how fast Juno really is. I mean, she is fast.
You'll have to take her out to my parents' house, which they have 4 acres, just to let her
Let her run.
around the trees. She'll try to herd the trees.
And she can stop on a dime, too, by the way, because Ramona caught up to her at one point, and Juno just put the brakes on, spun 180, and went off in another direction without, like, blink of an eye.
And the pit bull's like, what?
Meanwhile, Etta, the tank is going, dun, 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 dun. Hey, guys, I want to play, too. So anyway, so that's enough. I think that's vague and ambiguous enough. Billy, how you doing?
I'm doing
there?
good.
I'm glad to see that. That's good.
Everything's all right. Even when the last time we met? Had my wife become a media sensation yet?
She was on the cusp of it because that whole abandoned or the hoarder house had broke on the news, but I don't think she'd gotten fully involved yet.
Yeah, she wound up on the news and becoming the darling of Rochester media. Hoarder house, 30 cats in there.
And she's saving all the cats that she can.
And now we have another one in our spare room. It's not going to be ours.
Okay,
You're
but
fostering it. It needed
Is
a place
it that
to
black
go.
one?
Yeah, it had a real bad
That
eye wound, and it needed a
poor
place
thing.
to stay while it recovered. And
But you want a black one.
I already have Bob as my black cat.
Bob.
He's got Bobcat.
Okay.
Silent Bob is my black cat. And so now we have our 5 plus this one that's staying in what was like
Your
my
t-shirt room.
Yeah. So I cleared out all my stuff and moved that someplace else. And now the new black kitty that she's named Billy Porter, which is it's a pop culture reference. There's a gay black man that like wears tuxedos but like dresses to events. If you Google his name.
Oh, yeah, I've seen him.
So Susan named him after him, but I've named him Massive Head Wound Harry after the Saturday Night Live sketch.
Oh, God, I can see it, too. Who that was? Chris?
Dana Carvey.
Dana Carvey?
Yeah. So Billy Porter / Massive Head Wound Harry is hanging
I like
out at our...
the tux with the black ball gown.
Yeah.
Yes.
And in a couple weeks, hopefully that one will wind up somewhere else. I mean, he's a fine cat. He's just recovering, so he's not fun or anything yet. But in a couple weeks, we'll be fostering another cat that my wife has, a friend of a friend who's going to be going through some cancer treatments and needed a place for her new kitten while she recovered. So we're going to have lots and lots of cats, even more than I really want.
Yeah.
So I'm feeling overwhelmed by cats now.
Oh, boy.
But I love them.
She'd called in to City Hall to talk to one of my coworkers.
Oh, did she really?
Yeah, she was because one of my coworkers is one of our like senior team leader kind of guys.
Okay.
And So she had gotten a hold of him, and they were chatting on the phone, and I happened to be walking by at the moment. And it was karma, because at that moment, she apparently was telling him, oh, yeah, you must know Chris Frank. He's, he and my husband hang out. And so I was walking by, and Danny goes, Chris, come here. It's your friend Susan. And I'm like, my friend Susan? And I couldn't think of it. And then he puts her on speakerphone. Hi. And I'm like, oh, my God, I recognize your voice right away.
Yeah.
And she goes, I'm the crazy cat lady these days. I said, yes, honey, it's okay, but we still love you anyway.
Yeah. So I mean, that house, I went over there one day with her.
Oh, it's just a bomb strike.
Yeah. Were you aware of this house before Susan
No,
got
it's
involved?
an east side property, and I'm a west side inspector, so I don't know a lot about what's going on over there. Usually until somebody talks about it either in an open meeting, which they weren't, or breaks the news, which it did. So it was one of those things.
So that's going on. I have more cats for now.
All right. It's all good.
Yeah.
So, okay, and Tony's over here. So we got Billy, Tony, Tanya, and me. And how about you, Tony? Anything new and exciting right now?
My grandmother just turned 80.
Really?
Yeah.
Good for her.
It was Friday. She turned 80, and we were commenting because she turned 80, and then we celebrated the 50th anniversary of the moon landing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to my dad, and we were like, "Yeah, she was like 30 when the moon landing happened."
I was -1 yet.
I was almost 4.
Almost 4?
I was -3.
My mom was 10, and my dad was 6. So,
all right. So you were definitely not around for the moon landing.
No, I was not.
It was like -20 something.
Yeah. Little far off, that one.
Actually, like -30 something.
-30 something.
Yeah.
Give or take.
Give or take.
A 10, 15. So we're going to take a quick break because we've run out of stupid things to talk about. And when we come back, we're going to have a quick little update on what's going on in our lives. And then our plan for the day. San Diego Comic-Con has been a big thing this week. And as usual, Hall H has been abuzz with all of the latest releases of the big stuff that's happening in the upcoming year. So we're going to have a little chat about what happened in Hall H and around San Diego Comic-Con. We're going to have a little discussion, our little thoughts about the Marvel Cinematic Universe, some Star Trek stuff. What else do we have coming on? There was
DC
so much
stuff,
DC stuff,
Rooster Teeth stuff. There's like just a whole bunch of stuff.
Rick and Morty, so much stuff that happened, and we're going to talk about as much of it as we can.
And a reunion of Friends that made me very happy.
Oh, I'm looking forward to hearing about a reunion of Friends.
Yes.
I'll be there for you.
Was it those Friends?
No,
I'll
not
be
those
there
Friends.
for
Okay,
you.
different Friends.
Yeah, comedian Jesse Pop going to break talking about the moon landing.
Nice.
My favorite conspiracy theory is the belief that we didn't land on the moon, that we faked the moon mission, which I like because it's 40 years ago, and it still drives them crazy. They're furious. They say, we never landed on the moon. It's a conspiracy, and it goes all the way to the top. All right, let's say that we did fake it. Who cares? Like, what's the craziest thing that happened? Like, maybe we ticked off the Russians. Maybe Neil Armstrong got laid a few more times. Let's face it, come closing time, that moon credit really gets your foot in the door. In fact, that's the only reason that you could get mad. Like if Neil Armstrong had sex with your girlfriend, then you could dissect the footage and be like, honey, look at this. Look at this. The flag moves. He puts the flag on the moon, but it's waving and it's moving, and you can't, there's no stars in the picture. You can't see any stars. You know why? Because you're a whore. Because I go out of town for 3 days. And you're porking astronauts. You're off the softball team. Got in that bit as a softball team.
The release date for today's podcast is July 24th, so happy Wednesday, happy July 24th. If today's your birthday, happy birthday. So excited to hear about that. And if it's not your birthday, well, happy birthday when it comes around, so life is good. Coming up in a couple of days, just a mere couple of days, on Saturday, the 27th, is a very busy day.
Very busy.
In the Mighty Monkey Corporation.
I'm napping now.
From 10 till 6 at the Grease Ridge Center Mall, we are going to have Mini-Con number 4. Mini-Con 4. We're going into phase 4 at MCU, so that's kind of neat. From noon till 4, we're going to have Ring of Honor wrestling person personality Dalton Castle, native of Greece, New York, and man about town and master of folk dancing. He'll be there signing autographs, taking pictures, and hanging out with you. Then at 6 o'clock, the party transitions. We are going to be leaving the Greece Ridge Center Mall and heading to our favorite place, the 585 Rockin' Burger Bar over on Pixley. We will then be doing the Cosplay Karaoke Festival. Sign up if you're interested in singing. There's no such thing as a deadline in that one, is there? Just we want to give a heads up to make sure the DJ has your music.
Don't think that you have to be in cosplay.
And you don't have to be in cosplay to enjoy.
I'm hoping that that's not like turning some people off going, I have to be dressed in cosplay. No,
there's going to be cosplay. There will be karaoke, so it's a cosplay karaoke event. They don't necessarily have to be a Reese's peanut butter cup of chocolate and peanut butter mixed together. So from 6 till 8, there will be singing and laughing and dancing and stuff.
And I'm pretty sure Chris will be in a Wonder Woman costume.
That is pretty surely that's not going to happen. And then
because he'll be dirty, he's wearing it right now.
Yes. I am enjoying the skirt. It's very free. I understand why women like skirts so much. It's very.
I tell you.
In my next life, I want to be a Scotsman.
Well, you could just pretend to be a Scotsman.
As a Scotsman, I can do that. That's true. I can.
Yes, you can.
That's the worst. That's the worst accent ever. Anyway, no, not. It's not a bad accent. It's my version of it's the worst accent ever. Anyway, so from 6 to 8, there'll be cosplay karaoke. There will be raffles. There will be giveaways. There will be baskets that you can bid on and raffle for.
And special
prizes, special things.
Special raffle events.
Yes. And then after that is done at 8 o'clock, we're switching everything over to a band called Wicked out of Utica. They are like a full-on hair metal band. They play 70s and 80s music, and they will be partying all the way up to midnight.
I can't wait. I'm going to relive my childhood, or at least my teenage years. It is going to be a thing.
So from 10 a.m. to 12 a.m., you can hang with the monkey Saturday, July 27th, all day long.
Oh, and there is the cosplay contest at the Grease Ridge Minicon at the mall at 4:30.
4:30.
And then any family that has Girl Scouts, that there is the comic artist badge that's going to be taught at 1 o'clock, I believe Ann said. It's going to be
something
information.
Like
It's $2 for the materials and stuff to have any Girl Scouts.
Or a box of cookies.
Or a box, yeah. To get their comic badge.
There you
comic
go.
Comic artist badge.
I'd rather have cookies.
I'd rather have the
I
cookies
can
also.
work on that. I can give you cookies.
All right. And then, as usual, Tuesday nights, there are the game nights at the 585 Rockin' Burger Bar. Come join the monkey. Usually from about 6 till about, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock is usually how long we hang out. Card games, board games, dice games, game games, and all sorts of cool stuff. So Tuesdays at the 585 are game nights with Mighty Monkey Corporation.
July 30th is the adult themed game night.
Leave the kids at home because we're playing Cards Against Humanity, most likely.
Most likely.
Among other things.
I have one. I have like Dirty Words is another one.
Tanya, Ann, and Laura have talked about playing Spin the Bottle. No? All right.
Speaking of games, I want to go behind the scenes here for a second.
Okay.
This podcast was originally going to be an interview with someone, but that wound up not happening.
Yes.
Due to circumstances beyond our control.
Correct.
So at the last minute, we're trying to figure out what should we talk about.
Yes.
And something that came into my mind, would it be fun to play a game on the podcast someday?
We've talked about that. I think that'd
even
be
like Trivial Pursuit or
Trivial
Cards
Pursuit.
Against Humanity.
I think a Cards Against Humanity episode is definitely in order.
Ladies and gentlemen, step right up, try your luck.
I've got games in my car. I could just go downstairs.
Someday we got to play a game on the air.
I like that idea very much. I think that's definitely something that will come up very soon.
Will all the microphones reach to a table?
This table.
That's it.
all the microphones are on a table,
Yeah.
Tanya. So I'm not sure where you're going with that one.
It's a round table.
We'll figure it out.
Shit.
It's a round to it. Anyway, before we go a quick break and then jump into our discussion for the day, I have a riddle for you. If you're going down a river at 2 miles an hour and your canoe loses a wheel, how much pancake mix would you need to reshingle a roof?
Purple.
Because aliens don't wear hats.
Yeah.
That's right. See, I love that. So we're going to take another quick break. We'll be right back.
Okay. Sure. Billy's like we are.
Really? Oh, okay.
Here we go.
Uh-oh.
Oh, it's the OG music.
I love OG music. It makes me feel like I'm getting in something.
Trouble.
Getting in some trouble. Because, this is the time, this is the place. This is FC3's Monkey Business, your one-stop shop for everything geeky. And since anything can be geeky, if you love it enough, you never know what you're going to get.
Oh, you never lost it.
You can call me the bomb. Not sure if it's because I'm sexy or I might go off at any minute.
Yeah, I'd say it's the second one.
You're so going to die today.
Oh, you can so try.
I'm going to take down Ella.
It's nothing new there.
Yeah, no.
Poor Scott.
Nothing poor about Scott.
Every combat, that poor gnome shows up on the floor. All right. So this week has been San Diego Comic-Con, which is the granddaddy of all the big festivals for nerds. It makes them pretty much all pale in comparison. I mean, the only thing I think that can compete with San Diego would be New York and maybe Toronto Fan Expo. Those are the three granddaddies in the north, in the Western, hemisphere. So San Diego's been doing its thing, and as usual, their big one is Hall H. That's where usually all the really big conversations and presentations go on. So Hall H was a buzz because yesterday, Saturday, was Marvel Day, and Marvel did not fail to deliver. I mean, am I wrong? I mean, I think we all had hints of what Phase 4 was going to look like. They've been kind of talking about it little by little. So we had an idea of what was going to happen, but we didn't realize just how far the rabbit hole was going. So that was kind of neat. Also, and we're going to chat about before the end of the discussion, is the very first full trailer of the new CBS All Access Star Trek series Picard got released, and there was some really kind of cool twists and turns in that one. Did you guys see that one yet?
I didn't see the full.
Okay,
I just
you haven't seen the full trailer yet.
I've not seen the full trailer.
I heard some former cast members of Next Generation showed up.
There's a lot of new faces.
And one from Voyager.
One from Voyager, and some old familiar faces.
From Next Generation.
There's going to be more from Next Generation.
Three that have been announced.
Three have been old. Troy, Riker, and Data.
Right.
Are going to be on board, but you only see Data in the trailer. Marina Sirtis was actually she let the cat out of the bag and saying, "Okay, yeah, this is Will and I are going to be there."
I can say something. Yeah, I saw that Facebook post.
So it's going to be very interesting. It looked very exciting. It looked like this is going to be kind of interesting to see what happens. And there's no hint on what the true plot is yet, which is great. They're not giving away the story just yet. But it looks like the release date's been pushed back from late 2019 to early 2020. So, but we'll talk more about that shortly. Let's see. What else did there was some DC news coming on? Did I hear?
Yeah,
I saw that
animated Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn animated.
Hard R.
Hard R animated
Harley Quinn movie.
Harley Quinn movie. That's going to be interesting. So basically, like heavy metal, 2019. So, what else did you hear, Billy?
I heard that they're going to be doing an animated version of Red Sun, which is one of my favorite Superman stories.
Yeah, I heard about that one. I'm excited
that's
about
interesting.
That.
What if Kal-El landed in the Soviet Union instead of Smallville, USA?
Okay. I think I remember hearing about that one.
And they actually released Batman Hush at San Diego Comic-Con. That was it's based off of the graphic novel of the same name.
Okay.
Where Batman goes up against his childhood friend Thomas Elliot.
Okay.
So they do some twists and turns in it. I saw it. It's really good. So.
All right, let's see what we got here. I got a chart that I'm trying to bring up on my phone.
For what?
Oh, the Marvel chart,
Marvel 4.
Phase 4 chart?
I've got it.
Okay. Do we know which ones of these are movies and which ones are TV shows yet?
I do.
All right.
Okay. Do you want the movies or the TV show?
Let's talk about the Phase 4 movies first. I know that the first one's Black Widow.
Black Widow 2020.
Now, from what I'm hearing, this is also going to be a handoff movie.
It's the prequel.
It's a prequel, but they're also introducing a character of a young woman who actually becomes Black Widow down the road. So, I mean, that might be how they're going to preserve having a Black Widow on the Avengers, but it's just not Natalie Romanoff or Natasha Romanoff.
Yeah, this will be May 1st, 2020. May
1st of 2020, so Black Widow is going to be the first movie out of the gate in 2020 for Marvel.
And the first Marvel female-led movie?
Yes, it is. Well, no, because Captain Marvel.
Oh, God, yes.
Right? But I think what it is giving homage to a character that's probably deserved her own movie for quite some time now. So, and it's kind of ironic that it's, here comes some spoilers. If you have not watched Endgame yet, why? It's the biggest movie on the planet now. It overtook
just surpassed.
it overtook Avatar in the past 72 hours.
Yeah.
But anyway, here's spoiler aspect. They killed off Nat in Endgame. So now they're going to give her a prequel movie, and then what? Is it going to be a twist? Are they going to bring her back? Are they going to do the handoff? I'm not sure. I don't know. That's weird.
So Black Widow is the first film. The second film in Phase 4, The Eternals.
That's going to be interesting. Now, for those of you who don't know, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the Collector, played by Benicio del Toro, and the Grandmaster, played by Jeff Goldblum, those were Eternals. Am I right or wrong on that one?
I'm pretty sure you're right on that.
Those characters were Eternals, so I'm not sure if it's going to build on their stories at all, and you will see other Eternals. Apparently, Angelina Jolie is in that movie.
Angelina Jolie is Thena.
Okay.
Thena.
Uh-huh.
Richard Madden is Icarus.
Okay, and Richard Madden was in Game of Thrones, if I'm not mistaken. No, or who
I don't know. I haven't watched Game of Thrones.
Okay.
I see Kumail Nanjiani.
Yeah, that was that guy who played Robb Stark in the first couple of seasons of Game of Thrones.
I can picture all of the
Kumail Nanjiani, you said?
Yeah, he's a stand-up comic. He's in Stuber right now.
Oh, okay.
And he was in The Big Sick, which is a really good movie.
I did see that. That was indeed a good movie.
It's going to be
Lauren Ridloff.
I don't know that one. Click on her. She is not familiar to me.
Selma Hayek.
Selma Hayek is going to be. Wow, talk about MCU is up in the ante at this point.
So the Eternals actually do a lot with Captain Marvel. So I think they're going to eventually do a crossover movie someday down the line between them and Captain Marvel.
All right.
I can picture them. It's just been a while since I've read one of their comics.
See, I haven't read any. It's a comic I'm completely unfamiliar with, which means I'll probably like the movie because I won't go in with preconceived notions of what it should be.
Well, I think what they're trying to do is they're dipping into the fringe list of comic books.
It worked really well for Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's where I was going with that thought. So that's a perfect pickup on that one.
Eternals are kind of like do you remember Black Bolt and the
Inhumans?
The Inhumans. They're kind of like the Inhumans, but in space.
Okay. Oh.
I'll go.
And there was an old when D&D was back in its second edition, they released what was called Spelljammer, which was D&D in space. And there was all these little great quotes throughout the Spelljammer handbook, and the one that always stuck with me is a gnomish aphorism: "In space, weirder is better." So definitely. In humans in space, that's definitely going to be odd. That's definitely going to be very odd, and so we'll have some fun with that.
Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings is the third movie in the Phase 4.
This is one that I don't know much about at all, Shang-Chi. But if they're going to be making references to Ten Rings, does that mean they're actually going to bring the Mandarin in full steam? And isn't that interesting?
Chu-Wai is the Mandarin.
And isn't that interesting that they're going to bring the Mandarin in after they've killed off Iron Man? Because Mandarin was always, Tony Stark's nemesis.
And they're referring to this one as the real Mandarin.
Yes, finally.
As opposed to the Ben Kingsley Mandarin from Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mandarin was always Mandarin was to Iron Man as Joker was to Batman.
Seriously. And so they're going to bring in the Mandarin after they've killed off Iron Man. That's weird to me, but I'm going to roll with it.
Are they going to have Rhodey?
It's entirely possible. I mean, Don Cheadle's still on board for a while to come yet. Or are they going to be
Gwyneth
Paltrow? Or are they going to do an MCU twisty where a new Iron Man is going to come to the forefront? Maybe even Ironheart, Riri Williams pops to because they made reference to her in an Iron Man 2 or 3. They made reference to her, kind of a throwaway line about a savant at I can't remember what it was, MIT. This young girl who was a savant at MIT or something like that. And it was a throwaway line, but for the diehard comic book fans, they were like, oop, radar up. I hear Riri Williams references. So it should be interesting to see how they do it. I am already kind of scratching my head, but as always, I'm the kind of guy who's going to... I don't do the whole, I don't like this calculation, so I'm a hard no kind of a thing. I'm like, oh, that's going to be interesting. I can't wait to see what they do with it. What's next after Shang-Chi?
Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
We'll see. Then there's the official reference to a multiverse. They talked about it a little bit in Spider-Man Far From Home, but it turned out to be kind of a fake out.
It was a MacGuffin.
It was a MacGuffin. It was a red herring.
Yes.
As everything turned out to be from the same universe. But it was interesting to hear those references to multiverse. Now, you were saying something else about the Doctor Strange movie that you had read, Tanya.
That came out. Marvel was revealing that it's going to be like Marvel's first superhero horror movie,
which is going to be interesting because I don't typically like horror movies.
Right.
So is it going to be a true dyed-in-the-wool horror movie, or is it just going to be a Marvel slasher fic?
I don't know because it's got Doctor Strange, Scarlet Witch. There's a Christine Palmer.
Yeah, that's
character.
Rachel McAdams.
Yep. Wong, of course.
Yeah.
Carl Mordo.
Okay.
And then
played by Cheadle Ediford.
Cheadle, yeah.
Yeah.
And then a to be confirmed actor is Nightmare.
Oh, they're going to bring Nightmare in.
So I don't know.
Okay.
So maybe it's a demonic entity originating from the dream dimension. So I think maybe that's where it's going horror.
This should be interesting. I'm hoping it's just not just a freaking slasher flick, because that would turn me off. But
I don't think it's going to be a slasher. I think it's going to be a jump scare fest.
yeah, that's
great. So I'll be
Tanya's
watching
favorite.
like this.
Tanya's favorite. All right, what else we got on the movie front?
I think that was number 4. The 5th one is Thor: Love and Thunder,
Which I gotta say I'm excited for. Taika Waititi is back. He's going to direct Thor 4 as he did Thor 3. Now, the big reveal at San Diego Comic-Con was Natalie Portman is coming back as Jane Foster. And it looks like they're going to do the Jane Foster as Thor track, which that was a really good. I have those issues at home and I read them, and they were really, really good story.
Yep. So right now, the ones that have been cast right now are Chris Hemsworth, Tessa Thompson, and Natalie Portman.
So you're going to have Valkyrie and the female Thor in the same scene. That's going to be interesting.
Now, with this Thor coming out before Guardians of the Galaxy 3, does that eliminate the possibility of as Guardians of the Galaxy?
I wonder if when Thor said as Guardians of the Galaxy, I think he was just doing the throwaway kind of not Easter egg line to a little tip of the hat to the fans. I don't know if you're going to see Chris Hemsworth.
I was hoping he was going to be part of the Guardians of the Galaxy.
That would be cool. Now,
the chemistry with him and Chris Pratt
was funny.
Was
the way they bounced off each other. Wait, now you have this whole new thing where you have comedic Thor. You know, this is the new, the first couple of movies he was serious Thor, but then he became kind of like influenced by Tony Stark Thor, and then suddenly now he's like comedy Thor.
Yeah.
So he's done the full gamut there.
I think, I personally think it's more of the more humorous it gets, the more broken inside he is.
Yeah, I agree. He's hiding what's really hurting.
He's hiding all of his like deep down, I'm very, very depressed emotions with comedy. And that's something very common you see in real life.
It's interesting to see a character that...
Who are you looking at?
Yeah.
Who, me?
It's interesting to see a character who identifies himself as 1,500 years old and just what the last 10 years has done to the guy. Just to tell us. It's all Tony Stark's fault. Anyway, no, I can't say that. Well, yes.
Isn't it like 20 years in the terms of like the Marvel Cinematic Universe from like when he first appeared to like Endgame?
No, 15, I think, because it's 10 in real time and then the extra tacked on 5 at Endgame.
Okay.
So we're at 15 years right now.
All right.
And truly, that's probably taken a toll on all of them, and he's like becomes close with everybody, and like that family has splintered. It's like he could separate himself when he's fighting all those battles and stuff as Thor and things like that. And now he's been through so much with that group of the Avengers, and they failed.
Not to mention the fact that over the course of those 15 years, he lost his brother, he lost his mother, he lost his father.
He had to kill his sister.
His city, his home.
The vast majority of his population and people are dead.
And
in Endgame, he lost his adopted brothers, and he's basically broken.
So it will be interesting to see the climb back to that for that character, to see how they play that all out. So
maybe he's thinking that he's not worthy anymore.
Well, that's the whole premise of the Lady Thor. With Jane Foster takes over the mantle, unbeknownst to anybody else. But Original Sin, that was the name of the plot line. I knew I was going to remember it eventually.
So Thor's a Disney princess.
Yes, he is a Disney princess at this point.
But here's the thing: isn't his hammer not dependent on? Isn't his hammer like not cursed by Odin to be like whoever wields this should be worthy of the power of the Thor?
Yeah, well, no, the hammer judges.
Well, no, this isn't the hammer though. This is the
axe.
Stormbringer.
Yeah,
Well,
Stormbringer.
here's the thing: is the hammer's still around somewhere, loitering around because he got pulled up from the timeline.
No, but it was returned.
So you think?
Was it? So here comes some MCU hand waving. You know, there's a plot hole, and I'm sure they'll figure out a way to explain it. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Cap could have gone back and got the hammer after Thor used it and whatever, and they had a second one.
You never know.
There is a multiverse.
There's some jiggery pokery going on.
I'm like 98% certain Steve Rogers returned it because he had it at the scene where he went back in time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm 98% certain that I'm going to have to wait until, let's see here, November 5th, 2021. That's where I'm going to do.
Sean, date night. Oh, well.
Yeah, November 5th, 2021 is when that one's going to come out. So
Okay, in between that,
in between all of that, there are TV series coming out on the
5
Disney
TV
streaming
series
service.
coming out in regards to the Phase 4.
And these are some exciting titles, too.
And it's part of the Disney Plus app that's coming out, I think, later this year.
Do we know what a subscription price is going to be for that?
I heard it was going to be like $6.99 a month. Which is
$6.99, yeah.
And it's
That's
rumors
cheaper
are
than
it's
Netflix and Hulu.
it's going to stay that way. Like Disney just wants to corner the market on everything, and
Right.
they'll take a loss leader on this to just get everyone away from Netflix and
well, they make
the like.
enough money that they can make a cheap streaming
It
service.
might be $7.99, but it's
Once they kill
cheap,
Netflix
yeah.
and Hulu, they'll jack up the price.
Yeah. But I guess they've said this is going to be the price for
I'm looking it up right now.
the future. Let's see, Disney Plus, and I mean they have control over, like not just Marvel.
Yeah,
obviously.
$7 a month, and will arrive on November 12th.
Of this year?
Yes.
Okay.
And I wonder if they do the thing where if you sign up early, they'll give you even a bigger break. Sign up for a
I don't
year.
know, but-
The DC app did something like that,
Uh-huh.
and I didn't get it, and I hear that's sort of on a wobbly
Footing at the moment.
Yeah, it is.
Well, it's Titan's been canceled, if I remember.
The Swamp Thing's been canceled.
Swamp Thing was canceled.
Yeah.
All right.
The stunt coordinator from Titans was killed this past
That's
week.
the Titans
yeah.
news I heard. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, it's my turn, so I'll be the one to get the subscription for the Disney service. Okay, because I think you've got the last
So,
couple. So
On
anyway.
top of all of the Marvel... Oh, wait. We still have to go through the rest
We
of
have
the
we're
to
series.
still
do
going to go Marvel
Marvel.
TV.
All right, yeah.
Wait your turn over there.
I'm sorry.
Tony.
Jumping the gun.
Tony,
Yes.
you're fired.
Okay.
Okay, so the fall of
Oh, is it Sunday again?
fall of
It must
2020,
It must be 1 o'clock.
There it is.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
That is going to be a great freaking series. The camaraderie between Sebastian Stan and Anthony Mackie.
Mackie.
It's freaking hilarious to see the two of them in action together. I have a feeling that's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Yep.
Especially now the Falcon is Captain America. So that's going to be definitely interesting, I think. What's the next one?
WandaVision.
And I like how I think from what I've heard, it's going to be set kind of in a retro time frame, like the 50s or something like that. And the font that WandaVision is written in is very Art Deco.
Well, it's set after Endgame.
Okay.
And it's tying in with Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's kind of tying in with that and set after Endgame.
All right.
So is it going to be like a horror TV series?
Well, it's got, I'm not sure. It's got Scarlet Witch, it's got Vision, and it's got Monica Rambeau.
I don't know that character.
Hold on, let me click the character name.
Okay.
She's the daughter of Carol Danvers' friend.
Oh, okay. So Lieutenant Trouble, the little girl.
Yes.
Gotcha.
See, I just assumed without reading anything about this going in that it was going to be sort of a. I mean, it'd have to be almost a prequel. Vision's dead.
Well, nobody really ever truly stays dead unless your contracts run out. So
Yeah.
He's got a point.
It is Marvel described the show as a mega event series for Disney Plus. The show will be set after Endgame, so it's not clear how Vision, who was killed in Infinity War, will be revived. But if Tony Stark and friends can bring back half of all life to the universe, Marvel will surely find a way.
Absolutely.
That according to Polygon.com.
Polygon.com. Those are some cool folks. They got some good articles.
The series
over there.
should be about 6 hours long. So it's a
So 6 episodes probably, give or take. Or maybe 7 45-minute ones, but I'm going for 6 hours most likely.
Marvel said WandaVision will be unlike anything we've ever done before. And Olsen said it's going to get weird.
I love
So
weird,
it's a
though.
horror TV series.
It's a horror, yeah. So
It's going to be some psycho tripping. What's next?
And to answer my own question, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Disney Plus, $6.99 monthly or $69.99 annually. So I think you save a couple months if you buy the.
oh yeah, because it would only be 10
buy in
months.
bulk.
Yeah.
Buy in bulk. Drop $70 a year and get all the Disney stuff, which is
Yeah.
basically like
You save
75% of the entertainment
$14,
world right
yeah.
now.
Okay, there's 2 I'm looking forward to. Other than that, Loki is the next one.
Fangirls and fanboys aplenty, fainting and swooning all over God's green earth for that one. And Tom Hiddleston will be in it. I mean, he's definitely.
Oh yeah, he's yeah.
Is he really good looking? Honestly, this one I
he's
can't
got
tell.
He's got that classy kind of British. He's a decent looking fella, but he's got that charm to him. You know, he's an easygoing guy. He's that quick wit. So he might, just by looking at him, he might be a 7 out of 10. But then he starts talking and he starts connecting with people, and it jacks him up to 9.5, 10 right off the bat because he just has that charisma that people can glom onto quickly. It's easy. It's accessible. He's not superior to people. He just loves to connect with folks.
See, it's funny because, like I said yesterday, I saw the movie yesterday, and there's a joke in there about the main character not being good looking. But someone says, come on, we live in a world where Benedict Cumberbatch is a sex symbol.
That's true. That is true. That's a thing.
Benedict Cumberbunny.
Yes.
Yeah. His birthday was this
Was
past
it?
weekend. Yeah.
I thought he was immortal. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right. There's a couple more on the list of hit parade here,
The next one is What If?
which has definitely got my attention. Are you familiar with the What If series, Tanya?
I love the What If series.
Yeah, I read the comics as a kid.
You remember you're talking to somebody that didn't read comics and has not a clue.
Well, you have to catch up.
What
home,
if
start
Where to
Spider-Man was
start?
the 5th member of the Fantastic Four?
What's who?
What if Spider-Man was the 5th
Yeah.
member of the Fantastic Four?
Holy cow.
What if the symbiote had taken Spider-Man over completely? I think that was another what if.
Yeah, that was another one.
Is it like similar to like
It's sort of
It's a Twilight Zone, but in the Marvel
Black
universe.
Mirror type thing.
yeah, it's like an Elseworlds.
Well,
Yeah.
because I'm like, I see Peggy Carter, Steve Rogers, Howard Stark, Killmonger, Bucky Barnes, Thanos, Hulk, Loki, Nick Fury, Thor,
It's
T'Challa,
basically it's Marvel's way of saying, well, okay, we know how this particular story
Dum Dum Duggan.
happened. He was one of Captain America's
Right, yeah.
guys.
What if,
Howling
what if
Commando,
Gwen
right?
Stacy had lived? What
Yeah.
if Iron Man had been a traitor?
Right.
What if I think it was Nova was 3 different people?
Right. Remember that one?
Yondu was back. Mm-hmm. Taserface.
See, so what you're seeing there is basically Marvel Studios is now saying we've gotten so established at this point. Now we can really take this for a spin and
What
play.
if this happened?
Yeah. Now we can just go ahead and play for the fun of it. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. That should be a great series.
Another episode will ask, what if Loki had found Mjolnir instead of Thor?
Oh, jeez.
Now, looking at a list of the issues of the original run, I want to go back and get a trade of all of these. What if the world knew Daredevil was blind? What if the Avengers had fought evil in the 50s? What if Rick Jones had become the Hulk?
Who's Rick Jones?
So
Okay, I think I can get on board with this. I just didn't know what it was.
Yeah. No, I think we're all going to have some fun with that one. And when's that out? Is that summer 21 or 22?
2021.
21, summer of 21?
It is, let me see.
what if Captain America had been elected president? That was issue number 26.
Summer 2021.
I mean, there was a plot line where that was a thing, if I remember correctly. If somebody, one of the Secret Service guys got tripped up and called him President Captain Rogers or something like that and couldn't figure out what the hell to call him.
President Captain America Rogers.
Yeah. And now the last TV series on the slate right now is the one that makes Tanya just go all a pitter-patter.
Fall of 2021. I can't wait 2 years. Come on.
Hawkeye.
Yay! Mic drop.
It's already out. It's called Arrow.
There it is. There it is.
True. Stephen Amell.
Jeremy Renner.
I live in Henrietta, so
I don't know where that. I don't know how that.
They could come to me.
Oh, okay. So you're throwing it out there. You're
Throwing it out there. I'm inviting them to my house.
I wasn't sure how that fit into the equation. I'm like, Jeremy Renner, Stephen Amell, I live in Henrietta. I'm like, okay.
So, by any chance that someone actually knows someone of something that's 6 degrees of Jeremy Renner or Stephen Amell, that somehow this can get to them?
Oh my God!
I live in Henrietta.
You don't know how to play 6 degrees. Don't bring that up. Don't do that.
But maybe someone knows a friend of someone that knows them. I can dream.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, you connect into Hollywood with all of the people that you've brought in. So
True.
We do.
So therefore, you are within
We're just
6
about
degrees.
We're all
You just
within
have
6
to figure
degrees of
it
just
out.
about everybody
Michael
now.
Koski was shown in Endgame.
Yes, it was. Apparently,
He
there
was
was a
in
crowd
Endgame.
scene. There's a crowd scene, and he's in like one of the first rows of the audience.
When Tony Stark was talking about his invention,
Oh, right.
when he was having that presentation or whatever. And,
Oh, at MIT?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Michael
He was not
Koski
in
was
Endgame.
like-
He was not in Endgame. He was in Far From Home.
Oh, Far From Home.
Yes, because when they do the flashback to
I know
Tony
it was
doing
the
the
most recent movie I saw.
the holographic thing.
He's like, "Hey, there I am in like the second or third row."
Yep.
Okay, I have a Hawkeye question.
Hawkeye.
As someone that's not as Marvel-centric as I should be, what's Hawkeye's origin story?
We don't know.
He's was
in
heavily trained.
Budapest.
He's a heavily trained assassin.
Okay.
All right. So he became a SHIELD agent, but his vision is only enhanced because the thing they never touched on in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is he's deaf.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
All right.
That's one of his origin stories. The other one is he was in a circus
Okay.
as an archer. The circus had him doing shady things. Eventually, he got caught and was offered a plea, and he took the plea, so he became like a superhero doing stuff.
Gotcha.
So I throw this out to the Marvel Universe. Here's an idea free of charge just because it'll make me laugh. Have Clinton Barton's mentor, whoever trained him to be Hawkeye, be Alan Alda.
Oh, my God.
That would be Swordmaster, wasn't it?
No. Alan Alda's the actor who played Hawkeye in MASH.
And Hawkeye became deaf. Hawkeye wasn't born deaf; he became deaf, where he used a sonic arrowhead to stop a villain.
I see. Got it.
So maybe that's why he's not deaf in
MCU.
the MCU
He's
movie.
He's also technically a mutant because the reason why he can shoot so well is because he has like a precision gene.
Oh. Did not know that part.
He's at the very peak of human conditioning.
I see.
He has no superhuman powers.
As long
Which
as
is
you get
fairly-
Alan Alda in the show, I don't care.
Okay, see, that works.
That's going to be a good show.
Hawkeye training Hawkeye. I like it. Oh, man. So there's a lot going on in MCU right now. No sign of that falling in.
But they're not the only Marvel. They're not the only Disney property that's doing stuff.
Well, tell me.
Star Wars just announced that they would be doing a Cassian Andor series,
Oh, nice.
and as well as something else. Let me pull it up.
San Diego is always at the best stuff.
A Benioff and Weiss Star Wars movie, directed by Benioff and Weiss.
Okay.
So
That's the guys behind Game of Thrones.
I believe so. Yeah.
Apparently, they showed up at the Game of Thrones panel, or they were going to show up at the Game of Thrones panel, but then they canceled at the last minute because they knew they were probably going to get roasted. Season 8, not getting over it anytime soon. Season 8. Bit disappointed. But anyway, moving on. Anything else Marvel related?
Not. We just got 10 things Marvel related.
Well, I'm just making sure that I wasn't missing. Oh, there is one more thing.
It wasn't on my list.
Mahershala Ali as
Blade. That's in Phase 5.
That's going to be Phase 5?
I thought it was
Phase-
the end of...
No, it's
Really?
Phase 5. I looked at it. I just looked at it.
But still, that's coming up. Also, there was a throwaway at the end of the panel. Apparently, they were saying, oh, and somewhere along the line in Phase 4, we're going to figure out how to introduce X-Men and the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
So, there
They're
we go.
planning on bringing in Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool for that.
Yeah,
So
well, they have to.
They have to.
You have to. Tell me if there's anybody else on the planet who could play Deadpool better than Ryan Reynolds at this point.
I mean, no one offhand, no.
No, there's you. I can't even think of that. The person hasn't been born yet. Basically, he made that his iconic role, and he's so perfect for it. There's just no way to think of anybody else playing it.
Yeah, because I saw Phase 5 was Blade.
Okay.
It was Captain Marvel 2, Black Panther 2.
Okay.
Guardians 3.
Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Nice. Okay.
Were all Phase 5 stuff.
All right. So with Phase 5, we're going to sprinkle some new stuff in, but we're going to go back to the old standards and build up on some story.
Yep.
And build up. And I'm hearing a rumor that T'Challa is going to be stepping down as Black Panther and bringing in his sister Shuri.
What are those?
What are those? Favorite line of the whole damn movie. Anyway, so there's a lot going on. As usual, Marvel's they're gonna have stories to tell probably for the next freaking 20 years at this point. I think it's safe to say that we're not done with Marvel anytime soon.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
where do you want to go? Do you want to go DC since we're talking about Marvel, or do we want to talk about Star Trek real quick?
Let's go. Let's jump to space and then start.
Space Ghost. Anyway,
Gives me a chance to look up DC stuff.
there we go. So the first official trailer of the CBS All Access series Picard has been released, and as we said earlier in this episode, earlier in the podcast, you see Data. You see 7 of 9, who apparently has gone back into full human native, because
she still has
her brow implants and whatnot.
But she had long hair instead of it all being.
Well, she's had long hair pretty much most of it.
Right, but she's always been pulled back. And
Right, but she's also acting like a very normal human being rather than a very almost Vulcan-esque kind of rigid drone type of human being. She was comedy relief at times in Voyager because she would be thrown deep into the deep end of social situations and not know how to react. Now she seems to be completely acclimated to being a hot blonde. So I'm just saying it's going to be interesting. We know that Troy and Riker will be back. We have not seen them. They're not in the trailer, but they've announced that they will be involved. And I know that Jonathan Frakes, who played Riker, has directed a couple of episodes of Picard. We know that the date has been pushed back from 2019 to early 2020. It's going to be on CBS All Access, which I think is worth it. By the way, we're talking about streaming services. There is a ton of stuff that you can watch on the CBS streaming app, and I'm paying that subscription and not minding at all. Let's see. So
Picard's set about 20 years after Next Generation.
Right, about 20 years after Nemesis.
Which makes sense because we're about 20 years out from Nemesis.
Yeah, so it all kind of really fits together with timeline. So it's all centering around a young girl who apparently Picard he's figured out who she is, but nobody else has. The viewers are like spitballing and coming up, grasping at straws, trying to figure out the significance of this young woman. But she seemed to be pretty badass. There was a couple of fight scenes in the trailer, and she was
Dodge.
I don't know the character's name yet.
Isra Browns plays Dodge, a young woman looking for Picard for answers and help.
Okay, so yes, Dodge then.
Okay,
it's very dodgy. So the trailer was pretty cool, and then towards the end of it, you get to see the captain do the whole pointing at the screen and saying "engage" thing. That was kind of nice. There were little chills there.
I didn't get to see that. I have to go find that trailer now.
Well, can we call it up?
Yeah, hold on.
Let's call it up.
Let me go to YouTube.
We'll go to YouTube because it would be there.
Picard shows where the franchise is boldly going.
Mm-hmm. They've made, I got to tell you, I know there's a lot of hate for Discovery out there, but I don't understand why, because it's a solid show. There's some bits and pieces but that are questionable, but that's in every Star Trek series. There's some moments that are like, why are we doing this?
I'm looking.
I think the problem with Discovery, at least in my opinion, is it's still there are parts where it's still looking for its footing, but whereas in most Star Trek series, by the second and a half season, you kind of have a general feel for this.
Season 3 always seems to be the magic number for Star Trek series. Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, even Voyager to a degree.
I like Voyager.
Enterprise and original series obviously didn't really get a fair shake. Neither of them really got a fair shake. But I'm thinking Next Generation and Deep Space Nine exhibit that. Season 3 is the turnaround season.
With the original series, Season 2 was the best. By 3, there was some bad episodes happening.
Yeah, there were.
Spock's brain.
Well, say no more.
Yeah. Here's the trailer for Picard.
All right, here we go.
Okay. It's flying over
Have you ever
fields.
been a stranger to yourself?
Tanya's going to look. It's coming over.
Times. Nearly 2 decades ago, Commander Data sacrificed his life for me. These past few years, I really tried to belong here. But it never truly felt like home.
See, the trailer I saw was the Amazon
Do you know who
Prime.
I am?
That's
Everything
why.
inside of me says that I'm safe with you.
Admiral, I have encountered a woman. She came to me for help. If she is who I think she is, she's in serious danger.
Sometimes I worry that you have forgotten who you are. We do not.
You can't do it alone. You need help. You need protection. You need a crew. Be the captain they remember. She has no idea what she truly is.
She's the end of all. She's the destroyer.
What the hell are you doing out here, Picard? Saving the galaxy?
Engage.
Okay, so yeah. I wish I had
Tanya's
seen
in.
that yesterday.
Tanya's in.
Oops. Oh, and then they show
I
Data.
can see that, Captain.
Yeah, I don't want the game to end.
Oh,
Chubby Data.
From the producers of Jody Loves Chachi.
I gotta say this.
I'm
I
in.
like what they're doing with Star Trek. I like it. I like Discovery. I'm excited to see Picard. I'm fascinated to see where this is going to go. And I hope this gives the franchise some new life, so that if and when it returns to the big screen, to the silver screen, that you see something that is memorable for everybody. I liked the JJ movies. There's a shit ton of people who don't. And I get, and most of the complaints I understand, because J.J. Abrams gave it more of the action adventure explodey fests, but there was still a lot of facets of what makes Star Trek great in those.
That made me I've been binge watching Next Generation. And I've actually got through the whole series. I didn't on its original run, and that was a great series.
It was a very solid series.
Even episodes a lot of people didn't like, it I still enjoyed. Like the worst Star Trek Next Generation episodes are better than a lot of popular TV shows.
I will give you that. That's definitely a thing. But you could see when Gene Roddenberry passed away, the whole tenor of the show shifted, and I think that might have actually done it some justice, because the first season of Next Generation was a retread of the original series.
Yeah.
And so as it developed and hit that third season stride, it was off and running at that point. And Deep Space Nine was kind of like just trying to figure out its place in the world. That's all. 3 seasons and they were off and running.
I know a lot of fans like to point to when Jonathan Frakes grew the beard as when the series started to turn around.
Yes.
And and I like the terminology, growing the beard, as a term for like,
Instead of jumping the shark?
yeah, growing
the
the beard.
beard.
It's the antithesis of jumping the shark.
They should have done a mirror version of Next Generation where Riker doesn't have the beard.
That would have been interesting.
Evil Riker doesn't have a beard.
Evil Riker. I like that idea.
That's the one that's at my house.
Oh, okay.
Evil Riker.
The Evil Riker?
Evil Riker.
Evil Riker.
He just
your
turned
house?
11?
He's adorable. But he played Riker as his first Halloween. He was or second Halloween.
Second Halloween.
Yep.
He was bigger. Anyway, so there's something excited. There's
Now,
something to
with
be excited
CBS
about.
All Access, they do their shows like week to week. They don't drop the whole series at one time. Or?
Correct.
Okay.
It is week to week. And then after the fact, when the whole season's out, then you can go back and binge
Right.
the whole thing.
Hence, I just binged NCIS season 16 and finished it.
Gee, wow.
Well, I only needed to pick up in like March.
I got bored yesterday being stuck in the house, and I decided I'd gone like 5 episodes of Outlander and a couple of episodes of Stranger Things. I needed a break, so guess what I watched? Season 1, Episode 1, NCIS.
Yay! Now, I saw is it the TV series, Chasing Liberty? Liberty? Something? Mark Harmon's the president.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the movie. Isn't that a Mandy Moore movie or something?
Is it a movie, Mandy Moore? But
yeah.
Was it a movie? Or
it was a movie, not a TV series. It was
it
a
on
movie.
Netflix?
I believe so.
I'm going to have to go watch it.
Mark Harmon plays the president. Yeah.
His birthday is September 2nd.
I know it is because people reminding me of that every time it's my birthday.
Yes.
Hey, happy birthday, Mark Harmon. Oh, what about Chris? Never mind him. Hey, happy birthday, Keanu Reeves. Happy birthday, Selma Hayek. Happy birthday, Jimmy Connors. Hi, guys. I'm over here too, please. Oh, yeah. Happy birthday, Chris. Whatever.
Frank.
Yeah.
You have your birthday off this year.
I do. Labor Day weekend.
Yep.
Labor Day weekend. I'm going golfing.
Ooh.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to the Star
alone,
Trek
so
stuff.
nobody can see how bad I am. Yeah, me too. I am definitely I'm liking. Like I said, I am liking what they're doing with Star Trek these days. And the short treks that they came up with to kind of like offer different insights into Star Trek Discovery. There's some little vignettes,
little palette.
There's little vignettes. They're really great. So this is gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to this.
I like to call them like palette teasers.
Palette teasers. Ooh. Yeah. Well, isn't that saucy? What else do we want to talk? I mean, San Diego was rife with stuff to talk about.
We jumped over to DC now, right?
Yeah.
Real quick, they did go into Adult Swim released some clips from Rick and Morty season 4. I'm looking forward to that.
I hear that's brilliant. And
I haven't gotten into it.
I've never really I've had a hard time getting into it myself. Maybe I should sit down.
I'm just too old.
We'll have a watch party.
Maybe you have to have a really high IQ for it.
Oh, easy. Easy there. And how come you like it?
Oh!
There it is.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
There we go. Okay, moving on.
That was a little delayed.
All right, so Rick and Morty season 4. I should I'll sit down and try to watch it again. I'll see what happens.
I don't know. It just.
I mean, the callbacks on it are freaking wild. If you once you get into it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of sight gags and sight callbacks that I think are interesting.
I hear the show's genius. I've never seen an episode.
Well, it's not really genius. I think the guy's name is Rick Harmon.
Yeah.
He writes most of it drunk.
Dan Harmon.
Dan Harmon.
He writes most of it.
Ryan Ridley, Dan Guterman are the writers. Justin Rowland and Dan Harmon are the program creators.
Yeah, and most of
a sociopath scientist. There you go.
And most of the episodes are filmed with them. They are actually drunk while they are filming.
That's great.
So maybe you were going into it with a different mindset.
So I should drink heavily, then watch it.
Drink heavily, then watch it. It might make more sense to you then.
I refer back to the meme I said at the top of the show.
Drink heavily?
My favorite moment of San Diego Comic-Con that's come out is a reunion of Friends.
Tell me more about this reunion of Friends.
It was the trailer for Jane Silent Bob Reboot was supposed to drop at his Hall H panel last night, this being Sunday, the whatever date it is. And it was supposed to drop last night, but he dropped it actually a couple days early. And it showed that Ben Affleck is in Jane Silent Bob Reboot. They hadn't really spoken in about 10 years.
I'd heard something about that. The two of them, did they have like a falling out or something?
They had a little bit of a falling out. They grew apart when Ben Affleck married Jennifer Garner. Jennifer Garner was not a Kevin Smith fan. They worked together on the movie Catch and Release.
Okay.
And she didn't like his sort of
his
potty mouth, childish stuff. You know, it's deeper than that. But they actually met because of him. Ben and Kevin were friends. Ben went to visit Kevin on the set of Catch and Release. Ben was with J-Lo at the time, but wound up falling in love with Jennifer Garner.
Well, Jennifer Garner was also in Daredevil.
That's right.
And Kevin Smith was in Daredevil.
Yeah, and so Jennifer didn't like Kevin, and then over the years, Kevin does his evenings with and Q&As where he tells stories, and it turns out Ben didn't always like some of the stories that Kevin told.
Gotcha.
So, and they just sort of grew apart and stopped chatting and all that, and then this Facebook post came out Friday where Kevin Smith says, "My boyfriend's back." When the trailer for Jay and Silent Bob Reboot dropped, Folks found out a few of our secrets. One of the biggest being that Ben Affleck is back as Holden McNeil, the co-creator of Bluntman and Chronic comic books and friend of Jay and Silent Bob. He's playing a crucial role in Reboot, and his scene is one of the best bits in cinema I've ever been involved with.
Nice.
It's absolutely magical and life-affirming, and all the things I really care about post-heart attack. But
so it's probably going to be dick and fart jokes.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But he goes, more importantly, my reunion with a guy who I've missed terribly for nearly a decade only happened because of Kevin McCarthy. Kevin interviews Ben for his Netflix movie, Triple Frontier, and kicked off by asking Ben, did they call you about Reboot yet? And Ben said no, but he was available. So producer Jordan Manceno said, call Ben. I told her that's just some nice shit to say at a junket. He wasn't serious. A week later, Jordan, Jason Mewes, and Jennifer, his wife, were all pressing me to reach out to Ben, so finally I did. I was scared to be rejected, but I texted him to paraphrase the sad old King Osric and Conan the Barbarian. There comes a time when the jewels cease to sparkle, when the gold loses its luster, when the throne room becomes a prison, and all that's left is a director's love for the people he used to make pretend with. And after a long beat of wondering how he'd receive this, my estranged friend wrote back as only he could, of course you still liken yourself to a king.
Boom.
He wrote, and then would be a pleasure to see you again, old man. So naturally, weepy me, who breaks down emotionally during comic book flicks, was a blubbery mess. Not only did we score an amazing scene for the flick, but I also got my friend back, all because of an entertainment journalist. Thank you, Kevin McCarthy, for allowing me to make an 8-page sequel to Chasing Amy in the middle of Jay and Silent Bob Reboot.
Jesus, that's amazing. Okay, that's cool. That is very cool.
Even more than having them in the movie, I'm glad they're friends. I like when stuff like that happens.
Absolutely. The world needs more of that. Seriously.
So
that's amazing.
That
that's
made
cool.
me happy coming
now
out
I
of
definitely
San
want. I wanted to see the movie when it came out in the first place, but now I really want to see it.
October 15th and 17th.
All right.
Yeah, they're
Fathom
doing
events.
And I'm sure it'll be released wider, but they're doing the first night. They're doing the first 50 people get like posters and stuff like that.
Cool.
And filmed Q&A. And the second night, the 17th, it's a double feature of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back and Jay and Silent Bob Reboot.
Nice.
So,
and then they have announced the Jay and Silent Bob Reboot Roadshow. It's going to launch on October 20th, and that'll take Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes to theaters across the states to watch the movie with their fans.
And right now, I'm looking at going to Pittsburgh for that.
Is that as close as it's getting to us?
Close as it's getting to us, yeah.
Okay.
That in New York
Deanna
City.
can get you there in about 3 hours.
Yeah. Oh, really?
She'll take you there. She'll do some other things in Pittsburgh, but yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So that's what made me happy out of San Diego Comic.
That works. That's definitely heavy. That's good. I like that one. So what's the other things? Do we have any other news? You've been jonesing to get it to DC, I think.
Oh, yeah, I love DC. I think we talked about it a little bit. There was Young Justice Season 4.
Right.
Which is great because I actually just got caught up on Young Justice.
How was Season 3? I haven't seen it yet.
It's not over yet.
Okay.
They're up to episode 18. I think there's like 6 more episodes left.
Okay.
It's so far so good. They've made some interesting decisions.
Give me one. Don't spoil too much of it, but give me one. The biggest what the hell maneuver that you've seen so far.
Jeez. They took off Lobo's thumb.
They took off Lobo's thumb?
Yep, they took off Lobo's thumb.
Okay. So Aqualad didn't come out of the closet or something like that.
Oh yeah, no, they didn't do that. Anything like that. There are. I gave you a very minor spoiler.
Okay.
They definitely do a lot of interesting stuff. They introduced like 5 new characters to the Young Justice like from DC Comics. Each of them have their own like flaws, and each of them are trying to like figure out what they're doing. But Beast Boy leads his own team now.
Oh wow!
So that's pretty cool.
Look at that.
Yeah,
very cool.
They also, I think I mentioned the Harley Quinn movie.
Yeah, a rated R
Yeah, and then,
animated Harley Quinn movie.
Yep, and then,
do we know who's behind that one? Is it going to be Tara Strong or is it going to be Margot Robbie?
Let me look that up.
Look that up real quick because our researcher just ran off to the bathroom. So we miss you, Tanya. Come back soon. Oh my God, we're like flailing without her. Anyway, I feel better now.
Where are you,
Billy? How about you? Anything else that caught your attention on all the SDCC news while Tony's looking that up?
It helps if I turn my microphone back on.
Yeah.
I wish I could go. This is the one place it's like my dream vacation.
Yeah, San Diego's definitely on the list.
But it's crazy expensive. And even more than all the cool nerd stuff going on, it's only 74 degrees there right now.
Only?
Yeah.
See, that's perfect for me.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That's perfect.
Where it's been 100 here
Yeah.
as we record this.
San Diego weather is just...
San Diego weather has been awesome.
It's amazing there typically, fairly regularly.
Interesting.
Oh?
They have Kaylee Cuoco doing Harley Quinn.
Really?
Yeah, and they have Joker as Alan Tudyk.
Really?
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Alan Tudyk, Wash, and all those are great characters that he's played, is going to be the Joker.
They have Diedrich Barber as Batman.
Okay. I see it.
And Lake Bell as Poison Ivy.
Diedrich
Bader.
The guy did Batman and Brave and the Bold cartoon.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm looking for the director.
He was the guy who was in the Drew Carey show, wasn't he?
Yes.
Diedrich Bader? Yeah.
Yep.
I know exactly who you're thinking about now. All right. And then who was
Lake Bell.
Lake Bell. And which character is she playing?
Poison Ivy.
Interesting. Very interesting.
And my phone just died.
And your phone just died. So no more information from Tony.
Yes.
It's all right. It's good. I think I fired you. All right.
But yeah, that's going to be interesting.
Yeah. We'll have to keep an eye on that. And as usual, as we learn things, we will definitely bring those to your attention, my dear listener. It's always good to pass that along and share. How about we take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll wrap up some business and have our question of the week.
Sure.
Woohoo!
Yay!
Speaking of alone time, I'm a big comic book fan, and my favorite movie is The Dark Knight, and I've been trying to figure out what Christian Bale's Batman voice sounds like to me, besides and I finally got it. He sounds like a drag queen at the end of the night who just doesn't care anymore. Come on, Chantel, let's just go to this club a few blocks down the road. These high heels are killing me.
That's awesome. That is phenomenal.
I think it's really fitting because superheroes sound exactly like drag queens. It's like, hey, what's your name? It's not who I am. It's what I've become.
Comedian Michael Lawrence.
Nice. That was good. Hey, did you guys see my T-shirt today?
I did see it.
Oh, nice.
Got the official Nerd World News T-shirt. Now they're
fancy.
They're available through Amazon.
Cool.
All right.
My mom bought two.
All you have to do is just search Nerd World News. Dan decided to come up with it, and it's cool. It's Monday. It's 8 o'clock, and if it's Monday at 8 o'clock, it's Nerd World News, a product of the Mighty Monkey Corporation with our Simi logo on it. Multiple sizes, styles, and colors are available. He's retooling the line for the podcast. We were talking about that the other day. So he's working on putting together some stuff for the Monkey Business podcast. So we'll have that out hopefully within the next couple of weeks.
He's got the banner logo.
He's got the banner logo. We were talking about
using that and then putting our three pictures underneath it.
Yes, and ways to how to develop that too.
Who wants something with my picture on it?
I do.
I just
I also came up with an idea.
The Monkey Business one.
I also came up with the idea of sweatpants with the banner logo down the side.
But
sweatpants are not available yet, apparently.
Yeah.
Soon, as soon as they are, I'm having that developed. Because I would love to see just a pair of comfy sweats with the banner logo right down the leg. That'd be kind of cool.
You know what I wish? I wish more people gave out free sweatpants or pants in general as opposed to free T-shirts. Because I get a lot of free T-shirts. I don't get any pants.
We weren't going to talk about the fact that you're sitting there in your underwear today. But.
Waist size and length is more difficult than small, large,
That's true.
extra large.
So if you want to support us in the Mighty Monkey and all the things that we do, you can always come to our events and donate and your time and your effort and your money, and that'd be great. We have our Patreon, which is still live. That's about to start going through its regeneration cycle soon. I have some new ideas for that, so you'll be seeing some changes on our Patreon page. You can, if you want to sponsor us, as always, what's the address? Because that I keep forgetting, it's sponsors?
Sponsors at
FC3ROC.org. So that would be a great way to do that. But you can also go to Amazon and search FC3 and Mighty Monkey and Nerd World News and come up with a variety of T-shirts and sweatshirts and cool things like pop sockets and stuff like that and stickers. So that will all be available through our Amazon, and Amazon owns the world. So there you have it. Now, question of the week. Billy.
Yes, sir.
What, if any, books have you read more than once and why?
A couple immediately came to mind. I've read a bunch more than once, but a couple immediately popped up.
Mm-hmm.
First, the novel The World According to Garp.
Okay, the novel, not the movie, but the novel version.
The novel, John Irving. I originally read it when the movie was going to come out. It was announced and Robin Williams was going to star in it.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, I was a huge Robin Williams fan.
Who isn't?
So
right.
I was like, well, let me see what this book is. And I loved the book.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a brilliant piece of literature. And a few years later, we got to pick a... No, actually, it was a reading assignment for my English class, my 11th grade English class.
Okay.
And so I read it again. Rather than fake it because I had already read it, I read it again.
There you go.
And I've actually read it another time since then because I enjoyed it so much.
Nice.
And the other book I've read numerous times is Ball 4.
Okay.
Which is Jim Bouton, the author, just passed away on July 10th.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He was a former major league pitcher for the Yankees, a couple other teams. He wrote the original baseball tell-all.
Oh, really?
In 1969, he wrote a diary of his season for the expansion Seattle Pilots. The team was in existence for 1 year, and then it moved to Milwaukee, became the Milwaukee Brewers. But he was a pitcher for that team for 1 year, the only year in its existence. Wrote a tell-all basically about his years with the Yankees, his dealings with management, salary, hanging out with the guys, and he became sort of a pariah in the baseball world for it, even though it's much more, if you look it up, it's considered a classic now.
But back at the time, it was, why are you airing out all this dirty laundry?
Exactly, but it's funny. It's really, really funny, really, really smart, and gives you a really inside look at baseball. And one thing, if you go back, it'll sound ridiculous, where the player's minimum salary was like $12,000 a year. And him wanting to get a raise, asking for another $1,000 after winning 21 games, and them fighting him on it.
That's
type
amazing.
of thing. And it's one of my favorite books. I still read it every couple years during baseball season, and now that he passed away, I'm due. And he was also the co-founder of Big League Chew.
Oh, wasn't he really the bubble gum?
The bubble gum that's shredded in the pouches like tobacco. He was the founder of Big League Chew, Jim Bouton. So rest in peace, Mr. Bouton.
Absolutely. Now, let me ask you real quick before I go on to Tony over here, which means you're on deck there, Sunshine. See, that was a baseball reference. Do you need to have like a really good knowledge of baseball to appreciate that book?
A little bit.
Well, just have a little bit of working knowledge?
I recommended it to Susan when she first started watching it, watching baseball, and she didn't get that far into it, but after watching baseball for a couple of years, she went back to it and wound up loving it.
Okay.
So
a little
just
bit
a little bit, but you don't need to know much. It's more
There's
of a
no
story.
crying in baseball.
I love that movie.
It's more of a story of a guy's life.
Okay.
And hanging out with your friends. And
Gotcha.
Stuff like that.
Good stuff. Anthony.
I got two as well.
Two?
I've got Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency.
Love that freaking book.
It's a good book.
It is a great book.
Yeah.
And then its sequel is The Long Dark Tea Time of the Soul.
I actually haven't read that.
I did, but so long ago I really don't remember it all that well, I'll be honest. But
yeah, I loved. First time I read it was for school. Second time, I recommended it to a friend, and he was like, yeah, I need someone to help me through this, so you mind reading along with me? I was like, it's a pleasure, sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the second one is Ayn Rand's Atlas Shrugged.
Now, this book seems to be always kind of at the center of political discussions these days, too. So what is it about this book that draws your attention?
Honestly, for me, it's the context of like how the different people react in the book to each other. Ayn Rand does a very nice job of like setting up like monoliths of people that are like, this person is the center support beam for their entire family structure, but the entire family structure hates him.
Interesting.
So,
but if that guy gives out, the whole family's screwed, but they all despise him anyway.
Yeah.
That's wild. Did they despise him because he's so important, or it's just because he's an asshole?
The way I interpret it is the family is just so accustomed to him providing for them that they take him for granted.
You know how that feels. I've been in that position. I think a lot of people have been in that position over the years, but
yeah.
Oh, are they? All right, so 2 good books. Well, I've never read Atlas Shrugged, so at least 1 good book, and then another one that's quite popular and well discussed. We'll go with that. All right, Tanya Fabulous, how about you over there?
The one that I can pick up and reread is called The Deeds of Paxtonarian.
Okay.
It's Elizabeth Moon. It follows sheep herders.
Is it one of your trashy romance novels?
No, actually,
okay.
it's a
just checking.
Sci-fi. It's a fantasy.
So are those trashy romance novels. I'm getting flipped off now. Sorry.
No, this is set like D&D.
Okay.
Fantasy type thing. She's a sheep farmer's daughter that doesn't want to be married off to the boy next door, so to speak. So she runs away and joins the army and becomes friends with a couple people in there, and she becomes destined to be a paladin of Gerd, which is the god of the world, and spends time with the Duke Phelan's company, and that's the army mercenaries that he runs, and just goes through all like the trials and tribulations of her growing up and starting to believe in a higher power and wanting to do good. Like they battle like Lolth. That like the Spider Queen and all that kind of stuff. So it's one that I can pick up several times. Sean's read it, Randy's read it. Andy's friend that was over last week.
Oh, Kay.
Yeah. She's read the series. She's like, oh yeah, that's one that I pick up every so often. And she's like, there's like about 4 more books about Duke Phelan and Pax shows up every so often.
Hi, Kay. Anyway.
So yeah, that's a series that I pick up quite often.
Nice. Very cool. Well, I have 2, and then I have a couple of honorable mentions. Top on my list, a book that I have read, I want to think somewhere in the vicinity of 8 times over the past 40 years. 40? No, 35. 35 years. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Love that one.
Oh, my God. I remember the first time I read it, and all of the one-liners and the little situations, and just laughing and laughing and laughing at my ass off.
I still haven't read it.
Oh, it's just a fantastic book.
So long, and thanks for all the fish.
Yep, the last of the trilogy of 5 books.
Once Tony brought up Dirk Gently,
Dirk Gently.
I immediately thought, oh, that's right, Hitchhiker's Guide. I've read that more than once, but I figured you had read that one more than once also.
Oh, yeah, it's got to be easy 8 or 9 times I've read that book.
Let me guess. I'm going to guess Tanya may not care for it. It's very Monty Python-esque.
It is British humor. It is British humor
at its basis.
Yeah.
Chuck, please.
It's not as absurd as Monty Python is. There is a balancing act to it. There are some really weird things that happen, because remember what I said earlier in the episode. In space, weirder is better. All right. So, but it's definitely British humor, and I think that's one of the reasons why I fell in love with it so much.
Who doesn't love Marvin
the paranoid android?
Yeah.
Or the depressed android. The other book is again, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the beginning of a series of books. This book I'm about to mention is also the beginning of a series of books. 9 Princes of Amber, The Chronicles of Amber by Roger Zelazny. And if it's obscure, if nobody else is picking up on that, the premise is the hero is Corwin of the House of Amber, and the series blends. It's a whole big family dynamic family civil war. There's this good and evil going on, and you're not sure exactly if the good guys are bad or the bad guys are good or whatever the case may be. And there's a blend between modern technology and fantasy swords and sorcery. He comes from this family that has this long ancient history where they're all centered around Amber, and Amber is the true reality, and everything else is an echo and a shadow off of it. And it's how they balance out and vying for power, and kings and queens. There's a whole lot going on. It's hard to really kind of give it justice. But The Chronicles of Amber by Roger Zelazny, I could read that book over and over and over again. It's amazing. In that bent, my 2 honorable mentions are Danny the Champion of the World by Roald Dahl, a book that was written for kids. And I remember my dad reading it to me when I was little and loving it. I've read it a couple of times on my own for the fun of it. And then the big joy that I had when my kids were small, I read it to them. And it's a bond. It's a story about a bond between a father and a son. And it's just a simple pleasure in life. And again, it's British, but in British sensibilities, but it's just such a great and endearing story. And I will read that book again and again, I'm sure. And when I have grandkids, I'll read it to them. I'm sure of it. So it's one of those things. And then another honorable mention, Dragons of Autumn Twilight from the Dragonlance saga. And that's just for me, it's just pure D&D joy there. So those are my favorites.
A couple honorable mentions that popped into my head as you were speaking. First, Roald Dahl, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
A great book. A lot of fun.
I've read that so many times.
And
once
Charlie
you
and the
said
Great
his
Glass
name-
Elevator.
See, I tried reading the second one, and I haven't gotten through it.
It was a little weird.
It is weird.
It is. It's definitely a bigger flight of fancy, but it was a fun sequel nonetheless.
But the elevator can go sideways. It can go up. It can go down. It can
Goes
go
into space.
diagonal. Yeah, once goes into space. And
Boy,
then
look
they
at that Yankee on TV just fumbling the baseball and creating an error and not really playing baseball very well because, Yankees aren't all that amazing. But anyway, carrying on.
And The Stand by Stephen King.
Oh, The Stand is a good book.
Love that.
I don't know if I could read it again, though. That was really, you got to dig in. It's an easy read, but it's Stephen King.
Speaking of Stephen King, I'm currently looking for a car. My brother sent me
Where does that work?
No.
Hey,
It comes
he's
back.
getting there.
It comes back.
Okay.
So I'm currently looking for a car, and my brother sends me a 59 Plymouth Fury.
Nice.
In the right color.
Christine.
In the red color that Christine is in.
Perfect. Perfect. So how's that for an episode? Everybody got any last licks? That's a good episode right there. So let's go ahead and crank up that damn music. There it is. And this has
You
been...
love that music.
I don't. And no, consistently 3 years I've hated that music. This is Mighty Monkey Business, the product of the Mighty Monkey Corporation, purveyors and producers of the Flower City Comic Con, coming at you this Saturday, 27th of July at the Grease Ridge Center Mall.
Minicon.
Minicon.
Number 4.
And come join us after that for cosplay karaoke. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us wherever we go, and we will do what? We will lead you to where the entertainment is. We'll see ya.
Vroom vroom.